Hello, fellow seekers and collectors. I'm not gonna lie to you, this one was hard to get through.
I think like many other people, I wanted to like this game. Ever since the E3 reveal, fans were looking forward to continuing the story of Joel and Ellie, especially since the last game ended in an ambiguous way. In fact, this was a sequel that took a long time to develop, 7 years to be exact. In a twist of irony, The Last of Us Part 1 was released June 14th, and Part 2 released on the 19th of June. So with that many years of development, anticipation, and ironic scheduling, it's unfortunate that I have to say this did not live up to the hype. Even worse, it isn't just disappointing, it's a bad game. As well, it is a betrayal to fans of the first game. Before I continue, I should at least mention my thoughts regarding the first game. The Last of Us is a great game. While I never thought it was a masterpiece like many others thought, its strength was the story and acting. The gameplay was where I saw many of the flaws. The shooting mechanics especially were at times inconsistent. Several times on human characters I would go for a headshot and they wouldn't die. Other times my bullet would miss them entirely even if my sights directly pointed at their head. However, I forgave those gameplay flaws because the zombie sections were great in a survival horror sense and the story enthralled me. Many of these elements are lacking in the sequel, and there are some improvements, but I can in good confidence say this game is better than its predecessor. I have some positives to point out and far too many negatives. The unfortunate thing is many of these involve spoilers, so I will sum up my feelings in a non-spoiler way. This way you can come back and see my full analysis when you have finished the game. If you don't care about spoilers or have been spoiled already, then continue watching. In summary, The Last of Us Part 2 fails to remember what made the first one good. The gameplay sees some improvements, but it's still the same as when you played it in 2013, making the game feel outdated and clunky at times. The story is where everything falls apart as the beloved characters are treated poorly, while the new characters are flat, boring, and it's only way late in the game when you see any interesting characters, even then there's only two. The ending is one of the worst I have ever seen in a video game, rivaling Rage on how underwhelming an ending can be. The villain is boring, and the game tries desperately to make you like her, but it falls flat. Overall, The Last of Us 2 is not worth the time or money. It's at this point I have to warn again that we are entering spoiler territory as I'm going to fully analyze every failure and positive I found playing. I'm going to go over the positives first since there are not that many. Right off the bat, if you've been looking at the footage, you'll notice this game looks phenomenal. This game really shows how graphics are improving each generation. There are many details in the environments and buildings that make the game's world feel both dead and alive. From the dark and eerie look of desolate Seattle, the hauntingly dark and claustrophobic hospital section, as well as the many scenes that show how overgrown many of the cities have become from the plants. Many scenes are beautiful or disturbingly beautiful. There was a lot of effort done in many of the animations in the game, the highlight being the workbenches. Throughout the game you'll find workbenches to upgrade your arsenal, and every weapon has its own animations. The character models all have immaculate attention to detail, and again there are many examples of detail. However, while these are positives, they come with caveats as the development team was forced to work on crunch time. I'll talk more about this later when I address the bad business practices Naughty Dog have been committing before release. The acting is again the element that steals the show. Troy Baker and Anna Johnston return as Joel and Ellie. Their performances were still just as great as last time. Many of the other actors do a great deal with what they're given despite the bad writing. I give credit to the actors giving convincing performances. Troy Baker gives a brief but still memorable performance as Joel. Anna Johnston does a great job playing an older Ellie. Laura Bailey is easily the best part of the new character Abby. I honestly feel if the game gets any awards, it should be for the acting and nothing else. Despite all my positives, my negatives outweigh them, hence why they are last. I think the elephant in the room to address is easily the death of Joel. The biggest issue is the fact that it happens very early on. You don't get enough time with him before he gets killed off. Again, I have to reiterate, we waited 7 years to see Joel and Ellie again, especially to see where their relationship is at the moment. The bond between these two characters is what made the first one so good and memorable. Part 2 forgets that, and Joel is gotten rid of as if he meant nothing. Another huge issue is Joel doesn't act like Joel. Him and Tommy seem almost oblivious to the fact that there's conveniently a group of people close to their base. You compare Joel to the first game, he trusted no one and was paranoid. When Joel and Ellie meet, the brothers, Ellie reveals their names. Pay attention to Joel's face.
I'm Henry. This is Sam. I think I caught your name was Joel.
Ellie.
How many are with you?
He is quite clearly displeased with her revealing who they are. In this one, he seems okay with it. It's not also helped that later when you play as Ellie, Dina asks her who may have killed Joel.
What about those crazy cannibals you said you and Joel ran into? They came after you guys once. Maybe these WLFs are connected to them.
No. It didn't seem like the same group.
Maybe those black market smugglers back in Boston?
Do you not? Joel crossed a lot of people. I don't see the point in guessing.
Okay.
At least until we find out more information.
This line of dialogue clearly shows Joel through the years has been making enemies, so it doesn't make sense why Joel now would be so casual with his real name. In fact, why didn't Joel change his identity? If he's constantly pissing people off, then why does he still use his full name?
But wait, Seeker, I hear you cry out. Joel has let his guard down and has changed as a person.
That's well and good, but it's not displayed in the narrative. In the beginning and flashbacks of the game, we never see Joel's guard slowly drift away. If anything, he still acts like Joel from the first. Except now, they made him stupid because the plot needs him to be. This is bad writing.
Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have.
Also, here's another problem. You're telling me Joel and Ellie can go up against 100 plus people in the first game, but not a small group of people. Let's not also forget the fact that Joel took on several guys in the first game while injured. Also, why didn't Dina and Jesse go with Ellie to help Joel? Why didn't Ellie have backup?
In action. But while Part 2 is a thrilling adventure, it still makes time for a stunning, nuanced exploration of the strength and fragility of the human spirit. The PlayStation 4 has one of its finest exclusives in one of the generation's best games. For more on The Last of Us Part 2, check out our original review of The Last of Us and its Left Behind expansion. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
I think we should continue with characters. We already went over Joel's literal character assassination, so time to talk about the others. We get a new batch of characters. Unfortunately, many of them are boring, or you'll have a hard time remembering them. The biggest problem is these characters bring very little to the table. The mistake that was made is characters like Dina and Jesse are one note. Dina has some good banter with Ellie, but she never gets out of the girlfriend archetype. She's just Ellie's girlfriend, and that's it. I couldn't really find other traits beside girlfriend. She has the tendency to feel like a clone of Ellie as well. Jesse has a similar problem with him being just the ex-boyfriend of Dina and her baby daddy. The trait I could see was him being jokey and snarky, but Ellie and Dina are that as well. Almost half the characters' personality traits are jokey and snarky. It makes everyone feel empty as well, not developed. The worst of this is the character of Abby, this game's villain, and I say that with quotes because it feels like the writers prefer her over Ellie. Abby is the other character you play as. Yep, you play as Joel's killer. Can I just say how fucking stupid of a choice that was? It gets even worse as the game goes on. The story tries to make you sympathize with her. Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm supposed to feel sorry about the character who just decided to start playing Wii Sports with my favorite character's head. It's revealed that the doctor you kill in the first game was the father of Abby. That is so contrived, it's hard to take it seriously. The one character that had little dialogue and no face is the parent of Abby. I couldn't even make this as a joke. Another problem with Abby is she's extremely boring and unlikable. The writers try to make you like her, but fail in doing so. It was a bad idea to have her kill Joel early without seeing her backstory first. If all this information was given first, there would be less hate. However, it wouldn't even help due to Abby lacking a personality. Abby's only traits are she has muscles, she has a will they won't they romance, and is constantly treating the people she cares about like shit. Her romance with Owen is painful to watch as their chemistry is non-existent. Not to mention, Owen is a far more sympathetic character than Abby. She treats two random people she met better than the people she supposedly cares about. That's another thing to mention is we meet two new characters in Abby's story, Yara and Lev. I'll focus more on them when we talk about the story. In the end, Abby is one of the most uninteresting villains in this generation of gaming. You may notice I didn't talk about Ellie. That's due to the fact that the writers treat her more like a plot device than a character. They really nerf her intelligence as a character, making some of her choices just absolutely brain dead. In fact, this reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones Season 8, where characters who had some form of intelligence are made to be stupid for the sake of plot contrivances. This all ties with the story and the main theme of the game. Revenge is bad. After Joel dies, Ellie goes on a revenge killing spree. During these portions, you'll kill several people in the Wolf faction, a military faction Abby belongs to. However, later, Ellie starts regretting her decisions and only wants to find Tommy. Later, Ellie ends up killing Owen and a pregnant lady. She decides to go home but is confronted by Abby. By the way, you get to play as Abby in this section, meaning you get to choke and harm the little girl you bonded with in the first game and got to see her grow up. Truly a game for fans. After that, Ellie is shown to be living on a farm with Dina. After Tommy tells her about a lead in California, Ellie's PTSD makes her abandon her girlfriend and Dina's child to find Abby. She's successful and fights Abby. Ellie almost kills Abby but lets her go. Ellie returns home finding Dina has left, and Ellie can't even play guitar since she lost 2 fingers during her fight with Abby. Ellie walks off and the game ends.
This is such a crock of shit!
Where do I even start? As aforementioned, the main theme is revenge is bad, except it's so poorly done. The big problem is the ending. Despite Ellie killing so many people and even leaving her girlfriend, she lets Abby go. Why? Abby does nothing that warrants forgiveness from Ellie. The story tries to make her sympathetic, especially with the Yara and Lev story. During Abby's story, you meet a brother-sister duo. They are fleeing from a cult that wants to kill Lev. Abby helps them throughout the story and forms a bond with Lev. Okay, fine. But Ellie never saw that and doesn't know Lev. So the ending is predicated on stuff a character never witnesses. Only the audience knows, and even then it doesn't make sense. She's the same at the end of the game. It also doesn't help that during this section, we learn more about the cult Yara and Lev are running away from. As well, Yara and Lev. And honestly, I would have preferred playing Yara and Lev's story instead of Abby's. Yara and Lev are the only interesting characters in the game. Seeing this brother-sister duo was far better. It felt more like what the first Last of Us game was about. The thing that spoils it was Abby's presence. Instead of ruining Joel and Ellie's story, Yara and Lev should have been the main characters, or at least get rid of Abby. Have Ellie be the one who has to protect Yara and Lev. All this would have been better than what we got. I think my biggest issue is with the ending, it's clear the writers favored Abby instead of Ellie. I get the idea was to show both sides lose because of their quest for vengeance, however, it feels unbalanced. The game's narrative makes Abby's quest for revenge more justified than Ellie's. While Abby does lose friends, she gains something in the form of Lev. Ellie loses everything while Abby gets to be happy with Lev. The ending would work better if Abby and Ellie had a section together. In fact, that base escape at the end of the game, that section should have had character development for Abby and Ellie. They're both taken prisoner and even have a cell close to each other. We see Abby show remorse for her now dead friends. Ellie shows Abby how much pain Joel's death caused her. Therefore, when the ending comes and Ellie spares Abby, it makes sense because she finds forgiveness. It doesn't help fiction like The Walking Dead and Oldboy had an ending where the hero doesn't kill the villain. But those were explained better and told better. Why weren't we given a choice at the end of the game? Kill Abby or spare her. Therefore, players get the ending they want. There's so much more wrong with the story. They use dogs as a manipulation device, saying, "See, Ellie killed the dog Abby played fetch with. Revenge bad." Yeah, no shit. Ellie killed the dog because he tried to kill her first. It was self-defense. Then there's the fucking pregnant lady bullshit. You kill a character named Mel who's pregnant. The game wants you to feel bad. The problem is I don't. Mel repeatedly puts herself in harm's way despite being pregnant. She wanted to kill Ellie after Joel's death. Plus, she attacked Ellie. This character clearly has no regard for her child. She goes on dangerous missions despite everybody telling her you should probably stay because you're pregnant. So that baby was eventually going to die due to negligence. Characters make stupid decision after stupid decision. It gets tiring after a while. The game wants to make you feel bad for your actions, but the lack of choice in gameplay hinders the narrative because I was forced to do all this in order to complete the game. They tried being like Spec Ops: The Line, a game where it shows you're not the hero, in fact you're the villain. However, there was more choice in that game. The gameplay works with the narrative.
Yeah, it is. That's why Gould stormed this place. He didn't want the gate. He was trying to rescue his people.
This is your fault, goddammit! Stop right there, Hugo. What it is, he wouldn't listen! We have a choice! He turned us into fucking killers! That's enough, Sergeant! No! No! Control yourself! Now!
We need to keep moving.
What?
Reinforcements will be here any second. We need to keep moving.
But Walker, you're not even...
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done. Now, are you with me or not?
Ellie kills a 200 plus amount of people here and in the first game, but now it's bad. Okay, time to talk about gameplay. This has been the most positive thing surrounding the game aside from the graphics. However, I feel very underwhelmed by the lack of innovation. This is the same gameplay from 2013, except you can prone and swing from ropes. Aside from that, there's no innovations. I've seen games like Dynasty Warriors, Call of Duty, and Far Cry criticized for lack of innovation, yet this game doesn't. The biggest issue is everything feels like old game mechanics. You'll get used to it, but I would have liked more refinement. Now the shooting has been fixed. No longer will headshots be ineffective towards humans. The problem is lack of crosshair customization. I don't understand why Naughty Dog still has yet to make a game where the crosshairs are not horrible. You either get a circle or a dot. The dot is more bearable and accurate, but we need more crosshair choice. Another problem is stealth is a fucking joke in this game. You will get spotted easily in this game, turning every encounter into a firefight. For some reason, sometimes the AI knows exactly where you are, and when they find you and start firing at you, they will sometimes have pinpoint precision accuracy, which takes me out of the game, especially since this is supposed to be realism. I eventually started playing encounters like an action game, and it was far better. In fact, it seems like the game tried going for a more action route at times, feeling like they were trying to balance survival horror and action horror. It doesn't work though. A big problem is the lack of ammunition. Now, I'm pretty sure some will scratch their heads since I mentioned this is a survival horror game. The issue is the game isn't rewarding if you play in the way of conserving your ammo. Throughout the game, you can explore buildings, find resources, and even ammo. Upgrades to your character can be found, like an extra weapon holder, so sorting through your guns will be easier. I bring this up because at several points in the game, I had the limit on how much ammo I can carry, so I would have to leave behind ammo. Meaning if you played strategically where you don't use ammo, you're rewarded with the same amount of ammo as before. Now you can upgrade your gun to hold more bullets, but not by much. A good mechanic would have been not only the ammo clip upgrade, but as well an upgrade to your ammo pouch. Have it be a secret upgrade like the other ones where you can find an extra ammo pouch or an upgraded backpack. That way you can reward the player for taking the time to look and scavenge. Let's compare this to one of my favorite games, Resident Evil 4. In the game you can upgrade your inventory. This means you can have as many resources as you want. The only thing is, its limit is if it fits in your inventory. So if you play with strategy, you can save up a lot of ammunition. That way when boss battles come, you're ready. Now a boss encounter like the Rat King in the hospital section does give you a little bit of ammo. It actually gives you a lot of ammo. But again, that's a boss section. Most boss sections in video games give you plenty of ammo. You have other stuff like the bow and arrow, bombs, and other things. All that is fine. But if you played The Last of Us 1, this is business as usual. The thing that was changed for the worse is the combat. The combat is tedious as fuck. In the first game, it was fine. Here, now you have punch and dodge, punch and dodge, punch and dodge over and over again. It's mind-numbing. You can't even get the upper hand on some enemies in some cases unless you have an upgrade or you're stuck in the fight animation. It makes fighting less fun, and every time you get close to an enemy, it'll force you into fist fight mode against your will. Dodging doesn't even work sometimes. I would dodge and still get hit. The gameplay ranges from frustrating to alright. It's not innovative enough to warrant such high praise though. I'm briefly going to mention some of the controversy surrounding the game because I think it's important. Naughty Dog really lived up to their name before release. They were exposed for overworking their employees. The overworking ties into what I mentioned earlier. Many of the attention to detail was because of overtime being enforced. And in fact, there's an entire article about it, and I will have it linked in the description below. It's very informative, and it gives you kind of an insight as to why this game looks so good, but at the cost of human time, effort, and even mental health. They abused the copyright system to get several Twitter accounts shut down for posting memes about the game. Yes, banned because of memes. Perfect. They contacted a big news site about the negative review they got, almost in like a mafia style. Hey, I see you got a bad review about a game. You might want to take it down or maybe we break your legs. And the creme de la creme of all this, they lied to their customers. Joel was shown in the trailer like he was going to be one of the main characters in the game. However, if you look up comparisons on the internet, you will see they purposely changed one character to Joel. Again, Marvel and DC have been criticized and called out for having misleading footage in their trailers. Why is it okay now when it's The Last of Us 2? I bring up all this to remind you that Naughty Dog are just as bad as EA, Activision, and Ubisoft, and many other AAA companies who have been exposed for overworking employees or just bad business practices. They are no different than them. In fact, they are becoming just like them.
Need to do that?
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh my gosh. It is straight up Joel in the 2019 trailer and another person in the 2020 actual gameplay.
I think I'd let you do this on your own. You think I'd let you do this on your own?
It's even the same lines. Oh, I guess the other person's name is Jesse.
That's everything. In short, I wanted to like this game. I really loved the first Last of Us game. I liked Naughty Dog as a developer. but it's clear they went the way of other AAA companies. Now all that's left is a broken character and a broken fan base.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was gone for quite a bit. I know. I apologize for that. I've been very busy. I graduated college, so now I can invest in the channel a lot more. I hope to. I'm not going to make any promises because, like I said, things change in life, especially in this year right now. But, yeah, I'm hoping to do something for October. I'll tell you guys more about it. I'll probably make a prelude video of what I'm going to do to kind of let you guys know exactly what's going to be happening with that. So, new mask. Yes, I got a new mask. I like this one far better than the last one. My Dark Fate review. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like how I was doing it, honestly. So, I scrapped the video because I was not happy with it. The editing process was taking so long, too, and I was just not happy with it, honestly. So, excuse me. I will review that another time. Somewhere down the line in the channel, I will eventually review it, but not right now. Because, like I said, I was not too happy with how the video was coming out, so I do apologize if anybody was genuinely looking forward to that review, because honestly, I didn't want to put out what I felt was not a good video, and inferior video, honestly. So I hope to invest more in the channel in the future. A lot of stuff that I kind of want to do, so I hope to see you guys for the rest. If you guys want to keep updated, remember, just subscribe to see more of my videos that are going to be coming. So I really want to I'm not going to put a schedule or anything. I'm not going to sit here and say like every Monday to Tuesday or anything like that. No. I can't work with a schedule like that, because then I feel like I will be then putting out bad videos, because then I'm just going to be too rushed. But I hope to make more videos, honestly. In fact, I would even honestly say put some feedback on this video or any other ones to make sure to let me know if you guys actually want to see maybe unscripted videos, just more like ones where I just kind of talk about maybe like movie industry stuff or different things going on in fiction right now. There's a lot that you can kind of talk about right now in terms of like what's kind of going down and like certain upcoming movies, especially one that maybe I might talk about because I am interested, but that's up to you guys. So I hope that you guys will let me know if you guys want more, if you prefer the scripted stuff, or maybe want a mixture of both unscripted and scripted content material on this channel. So hope to see you guys in the future. Anybody who's really watching the videos, I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day and stay safe. Goodbye.
Oh my